All right, let's get over to the Tate brothers. And so let me just say this at the top. I have not had the time to explicitly parse every statement by Andrew Tate, every one of his human trafficking claims or all of that. I do know that he has definitely advocated some stuff that I definitely am against, and of which I guess the Romanian authorities found and bear investigation. But the funniest thing that I have seen now so far is this civil war happening right now over Andrew Tate's basically fleeing/vacationing, according to him, back to the United States, and a split overall in the conservative movement, where many people, we had Allie Beth Stuckey on the show, for example, to be like, hey, actually, no, Andrew Tate is not really a male model at all for anybody who is conservative or wants to see like family life, or, I could go down the list in terms of so many of the different things that the guy has said. But the split now has opened up a fight legally here in America, where the Attorney General of the state of Florida said he is going to pursue an investigation of Andrew Tate, specifically around these human trafficking allegations. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want. But in Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable. So we are in the process today. We have secured and executed subpoenas and warrants, and we're going to continue to move forward with full force of law. This is an ongoing criminal investigation, and we're going to use every tool we have to ensure that justice is served.
Do you open a criminal investigation?
There is an active criminal investigation, yes.
Do you believe that can you give me any details of what?
I can't comment on a pending investigation, but what I can tell you is if these guys did criminal activity here in Florida, we will go after them with the full force of law and hold them accountable.
So the Florida Attorney General saying there was an active criminal investigation. Andrew Tate then responded. Let's put this up there on the screen. He put out his tweet saying, Ron DeSantis is attacking me because he was worried I would support Byron Donalds over his wife, knowing I have monumental political weight and trust our Commander-in-Chief, President Trump's recommendations completely. They attacked me to prevent me from destroying his wife's political ambitions. Interestingly, I had no interest in Florida politics until I learned how communist the DeSantis administration is. Game on. Well, it might surprise everyone to learn that actually even Byron Donalds not really playing ball with all this. So guys, can we go ahead and play E3, please? Let's take a listen.
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan, because in Romania, where they just came to Florida from, there were charges of rape, sex with minor, and human trafficking. Do you support the Attorney General's actions here?
I do. I think those allegations have to be fully investigated, and then we go from there. The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women or, frankly, the abuse of women. We do not tolerate that. So if the Attorney General finds cause under Florida law to investigate that, then I wish him the best, and I support whatever he's going to do on that matter.
Are Andrew and Tristan Tate welcome in Florida?
No. Quite frankly, not. Because if you listen to some of the dialogue, I find it to be demeaning and disgusting. That's not about being an alpha male. It's not about being a strong man. What they stand for, in my view, is something totally different.
Woo! All right, so Byron is actually backing up the Attorney General here. So bit of a plot twist. And Andrew is now saying, Andrew Tate says, let's see, E4, can we put that on the screen, please? He is now claiming that his flight to the United States is his flight to the United States was just a vacation. It's a strange feeling to be so adored that when you go on a 2-week holiday to Miami, the entire world talks about it. It's wild. I'm going back to Romania in a few days anyways. So there we go, Krystal, before I play the crazy Andrew Tate's reaction, but I wanted to get yours first.
Back to Romania is a surprise. I guess he feels like,
yeah, he's under investigation there. I mean, I wouldn't want to go back to Romania.
I mean, maybe he feels like, because it looks very much like the Trump administration intervened directly with the Romanian government. So maybe he feels like he's got more protection in Romania at this point courtesy of Trump and Rick Grinnell in particular, than he does clearly in the state of Florida. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos floating around, both of things that he has said, which, you know, if true, if acted upon, certainly would constitute criminal behavior, or some of the alleged videos that are floating out there of actual abuse. I mean, it truly is horrifying. So for a party that has any semblance of caring about family values, you can understand why there's some contingent that's like, you know, maybe this guy really isn't the role model that we want to embrace here. And it is utterly disgusting that the Trump administration intervened on behalf of this dude. Like, whatever you think of him, that they spent their diplomatic resources getting this guy free is, I think, just absolutely disgraceful. You know, with regard to the politics of it, it is kind of interesting because I'm curious how you read it, Saagar, but to me, it reads like Ron DeSantis, first of all, I'm sure bitter about the presidential campaign and blah, blah, blah. And he wants his wife to get the Senate seat, right? Or governor? Which one is it? Governor, yeah, after he goes. And so there's that piece. But also, I think he's positioning himself for a theoretical post-Trump GOP where, you know, in theory at least, this is the last time Trump can run for president. And I think DeSantis, perhaps foolishly, is calculating that maybe after this term, there will be a desire for someone who showed a little bit of independence from Trump, had a little bit of principle on something, somewhere that they can point to that was distinct from just being part of, you know, the Trump band of sycophants. But, you know, I'm not really sure that he's right about that, but I do think that that's kind of the calculus that he's engaging in here.
It could be, but then I don't know why Byron Donalds, who is like as MAGA and as Trump as it gets, would back him up. Because, and that's actually the other thing,
well, I
too.
think that's political calculus. I mean, because most people are going to look at this dude and be like, yeah, this is abhorrent. So if he wants to run, you know, if he's running in the state, which he is, I just read that as feeling some political pressure to take a stance against something that would be wildly unpopular politically.
I think it's possible. I will tell you, that whole Trump thing is not confirmed 100%. It was according to the Financial Times. They claim Rick Grinnell. Grinnell denies it. So that's the only like thing that's come back to. Don't forget, I mean, he is an American citizen. He's a dual Romanian-American national, has full entry rights to the United States. He can come and go as he please. Not in defense, I'm just saying he's got the U.S. passport, okay? So like he doesn't have to apply or whatever to be released. It is, of course, noting that he was barred from leaving the country for almost 2 years while that continues. Like I said, you could spend 90 hours going back and forth, as you said, about there's things on video, there's things he said, he claims never did them. There are people who have anonymously sued him. There are multiple people, I think in the UK, where they want and seek his extradition. I know there is an American unidentified woman who claims to have been, you know, a victim of the so-called human trafficking network, etc. You could even put all that criminal stuff aside and actually just focus purely on all of this like demonization of family life, marriage, you know, so many of the views that he has espoused in the past. Look, I think he has the right to say them, but, you know, I don't think necessarily is a good thing or whatever to be celebrated. And that's part of the reason why I find it pretty annoying. It's also pretty, I had this discussion with Andrew Schultz. It's like, as much as this guy shits all over America and he's like pushing his like weird quasi Sharia / it's like Islamic hedonism, whatever his brand is. Now, currently, it's like, oh, you come back to big bad America whenever it suits you now, doesn't it? As much shit have you talked now over the years. So even pinning down this guy's like personal views or whatever is like pretty difficult. I find it all like pretty abhorrent and gross. I understand why, you know, if you're a 14-year-old dude online, yeah, I get why it might resonate a little bit with you. But overall, politically, this from the DeSantis administration, I haven't seen much organic pushback against it. I could be wrong, but I do think that the dam has broken a little bit. At least on the conservative commentariat and all of that are backing up DeSantis, and I don't see like some grand army that's going to be going against Byron Donalds and or Ron DeSantis for either accepting or pursuing this investigation against the Tate brothers. It is a fascinating saga, though, in and of itself.
Yeah, well, and he was on with Candace Owens and, you know, explaining his, you know, his
irate
position and very upset and whatever. Let's take a listen to a little bit of that.
Arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Fucking come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. Let's do this all over again. I've done it for
why is he wiping his phone every day?
I was going to say, actually, I do think you're kind of dumb because if you're like, I don't sleep with a phone full of evidence. I wipe it every night. It's like, okay, well, what evidence was on there that you're trying to hide? So
that's a little weird.
Really the kind of thing that people who are innocent of these said allegations typically do, but there you go. So
innocent till proven guilty. Yeah, I mean, the tell to me was, oh, I'm going back to Romania. Because I'm like, okay, well then you're a lot more, and by the way, you should be more afraid. In Romania, look, I'm only assuming, no offense Romania, but it seems like a place where you could probably buy your way out of some trouble. You're here in the United States of America. You're gonna need a few $1 billion to buy yourself out of trouble, not a few $100 million or whatever from your multi-level marketing schemes. So anyway, it's fascinating story. We'll continue to keep everybody updated. I'm already sure that this will go extremely viral, just in terms of all this coverage and this fascination over the Tate brothers. I do recommend everybody go watch our Allie Beth Stuckey interview about Andrew Tate, maybe from a year or two ago. I thought she did an excellent job on that one.
Yeah, and she really was kind of a leader on it because at that point, I think it was much harder for someone who's conservative to come out and say the things and be critical of him in the way that she was. So she was, principled on that. And then the last thing I'll say in terms of just like investigations and charges, just keep in mind that if it was state charges that were filed against him, like Trump can't pardon him for those. So, I think that would be another part of the calculus of like, yo, I was just here on vacation. I'm just like, I'm leaving now, headed back to Romania. See you guys later. Was never really planning on staying. But yeah, some interesting pseudo divides in the MAGA coalition that remind me also of some of the discussion, which we also talked to Allie Beth Stuckey about Elon and Ashley St. Clair and the whole baby mama drama situation there with him too.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.